Hey everyone, this is Nico from the Decentraland Foundation, and in this video we're going to look at the basics and also some advanced tips and tricks about how to position items inside your scenes using the Creator Hub. So I just opened the Creator Hub, and let's go into scenes and select one of my scenes. Now you surely know by now that you can just drag items into the scene. You can just look up in the asset packs, and for example I can drag in this crystal and it will appear roughly where I left the cursor go. And now if I want to move it around, I can just use the 4 different gizmo tools that I have here. For example, with the free movement one, I can just click on it and drag it around the ground wherever I want. This is probably the most comfortable way to drag and move something, but it has a limitation. The limitation is that it can only move along the ground. Now if, for example, I want to have it up on this platform, I have to use this other gizmo, the movement tool. This movement tool allows me to move things in just one axis at a time, and the benefit is that it also allows me to move in the y-axis. It lets me to move up. So with this I can actually put something above the y equals 0 level. I could also go below 0. I can make something appear to be slightly dug into the ground like I do here. I can also undo my actions with Ctrl Z. And then let's quickly look at the other 2 gizmos. There's the rotate gizmo, which lets me rotate something in 3 different axes. So in this way, and I can also rotate it this way. Let's undo that. And there's the scale gizmo, which allows me to rotate either using the center cube here. I can scale things in a proportional way, or I can scale things in just one of the axes. For example, I can make this crystal taller, but not any wider or deeper. One thing you might notice whenever you move items with the move tool is that they move following a bit of a grid. It jumps into fixed increments, and this might sometimes be helpful to, align things better, but sometimes it can be a bit of a pain if you want to put something in an in-between position. Now you can avoid using the grid if you press and hold the shift key. While I'm holding the shift key, I can move things in a perfectly smooth way, and this allows me to put them in some more, intermediate position. And the same applies, for example, to rotating. For example, if I select this bookshelf here, notice that it moves following some fixed increments too, but if I hold the shift key, you'll see now that it moves in a much more smooth way. You can also disable this grid by untoggling this snap setting here. Or you can also change the granularity of the grid. For example, you can set the rotation to be of an increment of 90 degrees. So with this, you would only be able to put things at 90, 180, 270 or 0 degrees, which in some cases can make your life a lot easier depending on what kind of scene you're trying to build, of course. Let's set it back to 15, which is the default. Also notice, by the way, that I can quickly skip between items by double-clicking on them here on the left panel. Another thing to notice is that whenever I select an item, I will see information about it on the right. And among that information, I will find the position, rotation, and scale of that item. And notice how this changes as I move the item. So whenever I change the position of this mug, for example, notice that the X field is being modified. Now this can sometimes be of great use. For example, check out these 3 columns here. Suppose that I want them to be perfectly aligned. I could drag it and try to get it just right, visually, just playing it by ear, but I can also check the numbers and make sure that the numbers are equal. So in this case, these 2 columns are in position, an X position of 33.25, and I can actually set that numerically in here. So these values that I see here, they're not just for reading, they're also for writing. And with this, I can set things in a more precise way. For example, if I want to set the rotation of this bookshelf to be perfectly aligned with the wall, I can also just set the rotation to be 90, and I'll know that it is perfectly aligned as much as can be. The final thing I wanted to look at in this video is parenting. So if I look, for example, at this mug and this table, notice that if I move the table, the mug stays put. Even though the mug appears to be laying on the table, it's really not related to the table in any way. Its position is completely independent to that of the table. And that is because these 2 items are not parented to each other. On the other hand, if I look at this bookshelf, you'll notice that it has some books and other stuff on it. These items are parented to the bookshelf. So if I were to move the bookshelf, it all moves together as a whole. And sometimes this is ideal, sometimes this can really make it a lot easier to, rearrange the scene if I want to, because I wouldn't have to move each one of these items together with the bookshelf. And this is possible thanks to the fact that these books and this potion are parented to the bookshelf items. So if you look here on the left, you'll see that the bookshelf is a parent and these other items are lower down in the hierarchy. On the other hand, if I look at the mug, this mug is not associated with the table in any way. But I can easily change that by just dragging the item here. And now the mug is a child of the table, and if I move the table, the children will move together with it as well. I can, for example, duplicate this mug with Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and now there is a second mug, and both these mugs are children of the table, and they will move all together as one big happy family. So that's all I wanted to share for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and you found it useful, and I can't wait to see the kinds of things you create with the new Creator Hub. Thanks and happy building!